Hey everyone, you know we've been talking about the ETF flood in the crypto space for months now, right? Well, here's the thing. Up until recently, most of it was just hype and wild speculation. But guess what? The biggest crypto ETF move in history is happening right now. Why this matters for XRP holders. And listen, if you're holding XRP, you absolutely need to pay attention to this. Here's why. Those older, established coins like XRP, they've got the most ETF filings stacked up behind them. We're talking about a potential tsunami of institutional money. Think about it. We've all been waiting patiently for those XRP ETF filings to finally get the green light. And when they do, boom, we're looking at a massive flood of investment hitting XRP. Why? Because most of these are spot-based ETFs, and those directly impact the actual spot price and trading volume of these established coins. The numbers that'll blow your mind. Okay, let me share something absolutely incredible with you. Nate Geralshi just posted this and the numbers are insane. Are you ready for this? Spot crypto ETFs have been leading all ETF categories in money flowing in since April 8th. That's when the S&P 500 hit its low. We're talking about nearly $34 billion flowing into crypto ETFs. And here's the kicker. There's a whole wave of new crypto ETFs about to hit the market next month. Look at these numbers. Spot crypto has over $33.5 billion tied to it. That's almost $10 billion more than thematic funds. You know, those diversified equity funds that go beyond the big tech giants. 10 billion more. Oh, this shows just how hungry people are for crypto exposure right here in the US. The game-changing SEC update. But wait, it gets even better. On September 17th, we got what might be the biggest update from the SEC in crypto history. They approved generic listing standards for commodity-based trust shares.
Now, why does this matter? It's huge because it gives the market a clear framework to follow for ETF filings. Even better, this is going to speed up the approval process for all those applications sitting in the pipeline. The flood is coming. Yahoo Finance and Reuters are both reporting the same thing. Crypto ETFs set to flood the US market as the SEC streamlines approvals. And honestly, they're 100% right. Here's what's happening right now. We've got 21 ETFs that already own Bitcoin, Ethereum, or both. But think about this for a second. What about all those other ETF applications just sitting there waiting for altcoins? I'm talking about over 40 applications just sitting in line, waiting for their moment. Expert insight from Bitwise. Matt Hugan from Bitwise dropped this analysis on September 15th, and I've got to share it with you because it perfectly captures what's happening. He calls it Crypto's ETF Palooza. And honestly, that's exactly what this is. The SEC just created these generic listing standards for crypto ETFs, and the market implications are massive. The perfect storm. Here's how Matt describes watching the crypto market right now, and this gave me chills. It's like watching the Super Bowl pregame show. Everything is set up for what could be a spectacular end-of-year rally. Think about it. We've got rate cuts happening, ETP money pouring in, people getting worried about the dollar, and incredible momentum building in tokenization and stablecoins. It's the perfect storm. But here's the thing that's been holding us back. August and September are historically the two worst months for crypto. We've all been stuck in this waiting game. The real reason we've been waiting. But here's the bigger picture, and this is important to understand. Major developments like those recent Bitcoin ETP approvals at the big wirehouses, or all that progress we're seeing on new legislation in Congress, these things take time to actually show results in the market. So while we've all been sitting here waiting, I wanted to give you an inside look at what's actually happening behind the scenes at the SEC with crypto ETP approvals. And honestly, the SEC is getting ready to absolutely blow this market wide open. The historical precedent that changes everything. Matt Hoog dropped this bombshell analysis on the 15th, and you need to hear this. He asked, what impact will generic listing standards have on the crypto ETP space? Then he showed us exactly what happened when the SEC passed the EDF rule back in late 2019, the one that created generic listing standards for traditional ETFs. Are you ready for this? The pace of ETF launches exploded from 117 per year to 370 per year. Look at that chart. It's a massive spike to the upside. And guess what? We just got this same approval for crypto. The tsunami is already starting. Eric Belkunis absolutely nailed it when he said these generic listing standards for crypto ETFs are going to unleash a tsunami of products and more competition from exchanges to list those ETFs. Here's what's interesting. CBOE currently leads with 41 crypto ETFs, followed by NYSE, while Nasdaq trails behind. But here's the kicker. Nasdaq has that one IBIT, which is arguably the #1 ETF launch of 2024. Listen, when I think about this, it really is going to unleash a tsunami. The SEC is about to blow the lid completely off of crypto. We're about to witness some of the largest moves this space has ever seen. And honestly, I don't think most people realize just how much of a game changer this really is. Proof this is happening right now. Now here's where it gets really exciting. On September 17th, the exact same day that framework passed from the SEC, something incredible happened. The SEC approved the listing and trading of Grayscale's digital large-cap fund. And this isn't just Bitcoin and Ethereum anymore, folks. We're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and ADA.
But wait, there's more! We got another huge approval. The Nasdaq Crypto Index US ETF was approved under the SEC's new generic listing standards. This fund can now own crypto assets way beyond just Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're looking at XRP, Solana, and XLM being included. This isn't clickbait, this is real. Now, I know when you saw the title of this video, some of you might have thought, oh yeah, this is just clickbait, whatever. But this is actual proof that the SEC is seriously about to blow the lid off of crypto. The official press release says it perfectly. Thanks to recent regulatory updates and the approval of generic listing standards, the NCIQ is expanding today and will adapt over time as new assets meet the indexes and listing requirements. This was all because of what we just witnessed from the SEC. The filing flood continues. And it doesn't stop there. We're seeing even more filings pouring in. BlackRock just registered the name iShares Bitcoin Premium ETF. Filing coming soon. This is going to be a covered call Bitcoin strategy designed to give Bitcoin some yield. Think of it as a 33x spot product, basically the sequel to their 87 billion IBIT fund. Again, we are literally watching as more and more filings flood into this space. We are witnessing the flood in real time. Major BlackRock update. And speaking of BlackRock, we just got a massive update from them too. This involves Robbie Mitchnick, and it came from Nate Garoshi's YouTube channel. By the way, if you want to dive deeper into this, definitely check out the Crypto Prim Pod. They had an incredible discussion covering the massive success of IBIT and ETHA, how Bitcoin and Ethereum fit into broader portfolios, staking and spot ETH/ETFs, those generic listing standards we've been talking about, crypto ETF development, tokenization, and stablecoins. Seriously worth your time.
In terms of product development, let me ask you this, and you don't have to comment on the first part. And actually, I don't expect you to comment on the first part.
I probably won't then, if you're prefacing it like that.
All right, so I have actually publicly predicted that BlackRock would file for a spot XRP ETF and a spot Solana ETF, which you have not yet done. And again, I'm not expecting you to comment on that at all. But what I will ask you is, how is BlackRock thinking about future product development around crypto-related ETFs? Because you have had these two massive success stories with IBIT and ETH. So certainly that has to have your attention. But what about moving forward?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of factors that go into that decision-making process, obviously. But the biggest driver ultimately is our clients, right? What is the level of investor demand? What is the logic and investment thesis for investors and for our clients around these potential products? What problem are we solving for them? And so when we think about other potential opportunities in this space, obviously we're looking at things like market cap, liquidity, maturity, but also clarity of investment thesis and overall sort of product and portfolio considerations in terms of how clients long-term are going to be able to use products in this space, build the types of portfolio exposures holistically that they want. And so that's a constant evaluation process. It's not a fixed point in time thing, but ultimately that's the kind of process that we deploy.
XRP checks all the boxes. Now here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. Almost everything Robbie mentioned in that clip, XRP checks every single box. When you look at everything happening in this space right now, XRP is perfectly positioned. And guess what? The filings just keep coming. On September 24th, we got another massive one. Amplify filed for an XRP ETF. Chad Stangreber nailed it when he said we're starting to witness a flood around XRP. And honestly, it makes perfect business sense. The BlackRock business case for XRP. Listen, if I was BlackRock, and I've been saying this all year long if you've been watching my videos, here's how I'd be thinking about this from a pure money-making perspective. We absolutely crushed it with the Bitcoin ETF. We made a fortune off the Ethereum ETF. So what's next? Where's all the demand? What's been the biggest crypto performer over the last 12 months outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum that's still in the top 10? It's XRP. Think about this for a second. XRP has actually outperformed both Bitcoin and Ethereum over the last 12 months. XRP has been absolutely on fire. From a business perspective, that's where the demand is. I guarantee you there are tons of clients wanting to invest in XRP. An XRP ETF is a no-brainer. October, the make or break month. Now, here's where things get really intense. We have a massive pile of decisions coming up in October. CryptoZar put it perfectly. XRP ETF's momentum is coming fast. Get ready for this. We've got 5 filings with decisions in just 7 days from October 18th through the 24th. We're talking about Grayscale, 21 Shares, Bitwise, CoinShares, Canary Capital, Wisdom Tree. That's a full gauntlet of spot XRP ETF decisions in one single week. This is the clearest timeline we've ever had.
And here's what's at stake. If these approvals land, the flow dynamic completely shifts from retail-heavy to institutional. If they don't, the US regulatory stalemate continues. Either way, the direction of XRP investment for years will likely be determined in late October. The flood is real, even Dogecoin. When you look at this logically, what are we witnessing in the ETF space right now? We're watching more and more filings flood in. We just got another one on September 22nd, this time for Dogecoin. Yes, even Dogecoin is getting ETF applications now. On top of that, we're seeing even more major players like BlackRock registering new names and wanting to file even more crypto ETF applications. And this is all happening at the exact same time the SEC is finally starting to approve some of these. Remember those approvals we talked about? The Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund and the NASDAQ Crypto Index Fund? We are absolutely on a roll with the SEC ever since that big framework update. XRP has the secret ingredient. And here's the kicker. I believe almost every single one of these XRP ETF applications follows that new framework perfectly. Why? Because the main thing the SEC is looking at is whether the underlying asset has some sort of derivative product from Coinbase. And guess what? XRP does. The perfect storm for October. So when you look at this listing standard, this framework that needs to be followed, every single one of these applications essentially checks all the boxes. This means in October, if we get approval of those 5 filings in a single week, we're looking at a massive catalyst. And honestly, I don't think most people realize just how huge this catalyst is going to be.
This is the moment. But here's what I want you to understand. We are finally witnessing the ETF flood happen in real time. This SEC approval, this was the biggest moment. The SEC approving these generic listing standards, that was the moment everything changed. And we can already see it working. Just like Eric Balchunas and Matt Hogan from Bitwise have been saying, we really are about to witness the SEC blow the lid wide open for crypto. Get ready for explosive moves. I genuinely believe this is going to lead to some absolutely crazy moves in crypto. Think about it. We're already seeing crypto ETFs outpace every other ETF category. This is going to create a ton of demand and generate massive hype around crypto. This is shaping up to be an incredible cycle for crypto. And here's what's really exciting. I think this ETF momentum is going to continue regardless of what type of market cycle we're in. Bear market, bull market, it doesn't matter. The bigger picture. The main thing I'm focused on here is how legitimized crypto is becoming. Look at how mature this space has gotten.
It's honestly incredible to witness this transformation happening right before our eyes. We've gone from crypto being this fringe, speculative asset class to having the biggest financial institutions in the world fighting to launch ETFs for it. The floodgates are officially open. Wrapping up. So there you have it. The crypto ETF revolution is here, and XRP is positioned perfectly to ride this massive wave. October is going to be absolutely crucial, and I'll be watching every single one of those decisions closely. What do you think? Are you as excited about this ETF flood as I am? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, definitely smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on this incredible story as it unfolds.